Okay, moving on to topic 3, where Andrew
GFriend.
rants about GFriend again.
No?
No? Well, that's surprising.
Spoiler alert, no.
Spoilers. So we're gonna review GFriend's Time for the Moon Night mini album. Their 6th, I believe.
Yep.
Is there any is it just like English that's why it's Time for the Moon Night as opposed to Time for like the Moonlight or something? Because I'm just like, are they talking about
so.
like Moon Knight of like
the
Marvel
Korean-
character?
Yeah, it's not a K, so it's not Moon Knight, the
Korean
Marvel hero.
the Korean name of the song is just Bam, which just means night.
Night, yeah,
So-
exactly. Yeah, I noticed that all the Korean
it's part
names
bomb.
were like
Short.
way short, because the last song is "You Are My Star" and it's literally just "star" in Korean.
Yeah, why
Yep,
did they
it's
make
like-
it so much longer in English?
I have no, probably like searchability.
That's true.
Well, even in
But
Korean, it's like not very searchable with the one.
Yeah,
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 because how many
that's true.
songs are there that are named Star? Like literally, if
A
you
lot.
like literally just type in like the one character, there's probably gonna be
Yeah.
hundreds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Yep. So first we start out with the intro, which is subtitled "Daytime." This is like very musical sounding.
Very
it's
Disney,
like
in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, exactly. Like very upbeat, whimsical strings. It definitely sounded like an intro. Yeah, like something that would play over the Disney logo, like the Magic Kingdom castle, or like just like an opening to a musical.
The vibe I got from this actually was just kind of like 90s anime type of like vaporwave style of music. Like
That's
'cause I
why
feel like,
he's like, oh,
That's
the
why he
intro's
likes it.
great, so I love this album.
no, not just that. Just because like it's specifically like it kind of
Anime
sounds like
vaporwave.
it kind of sounds like some stuff like that would be background music for Sailor Moon, and I feel like there's like the anime-ness of this entire album just was turned up to 11. So yeah, this is great.
So yeah, my thoughts I basically already said. It was Disney
Yeah,
AF.
Disney.
Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all I could think of is it playing like during a movie, like I don't know, like Aladdin or like Cinderella or something like that. like while something magical is happening, like just something like that. Basically.
Well, Dami's pulling out her cane,
Yep, exactly.
her magic cane.
Yep. Next we have the title track, "Time for the Moon Night." So yeah, I felt like this is GFriend just sticking to what they do best. I felt like the vocals are a little bit different for this than normal. The vocals to me sounded a little more like just traditional poppy sounding. I don't know like how to describe it. I guess there just like wasn't as much flair as there usually is to a GFriend song. But that's not a bad thing.
I think it's mostly because Yuju doesn't like belt out as much.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
'cause,
There,
like,
there
half of,
wasn't
like,
a lot of
yeah.
exactly. There wasn't a lot of belting and a lot of just like vocal tricks and stuff to make it
Because
fancier.
it wouldn't have fit the song.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying describing it like it sounds like a normal GFriend song, but the vocals are more traditional pop. In terms of, and yeah, I liked it a lot. But I've always liked GFriend stuff. I'm unlike Andrew. I'm down to just have a group put out
Hell
what I
no.
like over and over again for the rest of eternity, and I'll
Hell
be
no.
happy. So Dreamcatcher could keep doing what they're doing. GFriend can keep doing what they're doing. And I'd be happy. For the music video, it was pretty basic. I did like their outfits and stuff. Also, all their hair I like all their new hairstyles. I like Una's long hair with the bangs.
No.
I love it. I
No,
love it.
short hair Unha is like top god tier. Like her going
I
back
like
to
short
long
hair. No, but they didn't go back to the old long hair. She kept her bangs, and I think it looks really good.
No,
It makes her look more mature.
No, she
I like
needs
it.
short hair. She needs short hair. How can she be more mature? She's literally like she has like a lolly voice permanently or whatever.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
like
but she's like-
I remember during KCON, she like literally sounded like she was on helium.
But she's
like
20
she's
years old.
Yeah, and she's only like 4 or 5 years younger than me. But speaking of hair,
I
though,
don't know.
Yuju with red hair and oh my god, like
Definitely
so,
approve.
like locked in as bias now. Basically, just like she looks great with her hair.
I would say, yeah, I liked all of it. Styles and stuff.
So,
New hairstyles.
did you want to go, Jacob?
Yeah. So for this song, I really like, and I also like actually of the night. I think this one actually sounds a lot like an anime opening to me. Like I could like I think it's because of like maybe the tempo of the chorus. Like it just like it just supports something like fast happening, like animation or whatever overlaid. But yeah, I actually thought this was a really good title track. Like I'd put on par with Love Whisper, which I actually really enjoyed, despite like a lot of people not liking that song. It's definitely better than what was it called, Summer Rain. So yeah, and then I know I was saying like not a lot of like Yuju belting, but like it basically like builds up until the end where she finally does it.
Where she does it, it definitely where it's appropriate. Yeah,
exactly. So anyways, I thought this title track was a good choice, and while they're sort of like still like just sticking to their guns, I think it still was different enough that it satisfies me. So yeah.
I usually do a scale of whenever I rate individual songs just internally. I do it 0 if I hate it, 0.5 if it's okay, 1 if I like it. This is a 1 with caveats. So I like the song, but I feel like it's really let down by the production the production level of the instrumentals, because it kind of sounds like it's a demo. Like it's really like like the drum track that they're using kind of sounds like really generic. It's like the click.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's so like half and half, where like the string instrumentals are great and it's like sweeping, like very GFriend-esque, but yeah, like the drum track's kind of like lacking in the way. But the reason why I like this song so much is because it's basically the Korean version of "Connect" by Claris, which is the opening song to Maho Shoujo Madoka Magica, aka one of my favorite anime. It's like it's very, if you listen to them back to back, they're very similar. So they usually have a problem with people sort of like copying style or whatever, but this kind of music is just like so like. I know Nate, you keep saying that it sounds like typical GFriend, but if anything, this sounds very different for GFriend for me. Like it feels like such a different direction just in general when it comes to the album. So like, which is why I actually ended up enjoying it a lot more. So yeah, as much as like I'd say the vocals definitely are still very solid, even though they don't necessarily like, again, they go crazy with like belting high notes and everything. The MV, very disappointing. It seems way too basic. Just like there's nothing interesting going on, and mostly because they barely showcase the choreography, which the choreography for this was really ridiculous.
Good. Yeah,
like they're just doing all this like when the strings kick in after before they hit verse 1. There's just like the crazy like hand movements and like voguing and all that sort of stuff. It's crazy good, and like. GFriend choreography is on a high level as it is, so for me to say that's saying something.
For girl groups, GFriend is like definitely probably the standard in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely set the standard.
They always pull through with the best female choreography for sure.
And that's, I think that's their one saving grace, that's the one thing that always separates their music, because I feel like the choreography or the level of intensity that their choreography does definitely brings out the intensity of the song and the intensity of the vocals, and I feel like they're one of the very few groups that's able to match the choreography to the intensity of their songs like in that way.
Next we have Love Bug. So for me, at the start it sounded like a standard GFriend song, but then it like goes into like a 90s pop song rap section for a few lines, which was like weird but cool. And then I really like the chorus because the second time they repeat it, there's like a very noticeable key change.
Modulation,
which made it stand out a lot. So yeah, I like this song.
Might be my favorite song, honestly.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Favorite song on the album.
Like, I kind of like I'm not as big of a fan of A-Pink, but this feels like GFriend doing an A-Pink song, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
but they pull it off so well. The only minor like nitpick I'd have with this song is that like it's as weird as it is to like hear like a GFriend like a rap-ish part that I didn't mind. But they kind of just like copied the flow of Kesha from TikTok, and I'm just like, oh no, that's not the rap flow I want to hear in my K-pop songs. It was like the really like kind of whiny sort of voice sort of thing. But other than that, again, like Nate, you mentioned, the modulation, the chorus excellent. This is how you do, like, take note. This is how you do modulation. Like, it goes up like very gradually, and the vocals, like, again, match it so perfectly. Like, I wouldn't. It wouldn't fit GFriend maybe if this was a single, but I would have loved to see like a music video for this, just to see how they'd approach it, because I guess it's just such a different sound for them. So I love it.
So this is definitely my favorite song in the album. One thing I really actually liked about it was I think Umji actually shines a lot in this song.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Her voice like fits the song very, very well. Whereas in a lot of other songs, it's a little like, cause she still looks and sounds very young. Like even though like her voice might be like deeper than Una's, but it still like. She still sounds like a young girl, I guess.
Yeah.
But still, like I think it really fits in a song like this. So
yeah, because the vibe is way more cutesy than even normal GFriend would be. That's why
cutesy,
this is
happy.
Yeah, this is Umji territory right here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Next we have Flower Garden. So this is a very vocal focused GFriend song. So I like this song. What I wish it did better is, like, it's really subtle until later on, but there's electric guitar in it, and I kind of just wish it was pulled forward more. Because you can you can't even tell it's there until it gets a solo. Like there's a guitar solo at the end.
Yeah,
but before that, you can't even tell there's an electric guitar in the song, and there is throughout the whole song. So I wish that was just pulled forward a little more, and it kind of went a little bit more into Dreamcatcher territory. Just because, I mean, I would like to see GFriend try that out.
I want to see like GFriend Dreamcatcher like collaboration.
Exactly, they're so like
or they meet
similar,
in the middle.
but
GFriend.
Exactly. they just need to get together as a group of 10 and make a
girl catcher.
G catcher. No, they're catching G's.
Not 10. 13.
Yoja catcher.
Yeah, Yoja catcher. God, that sounds horrible. Don't girl catcher. They're
just running around with like freaking like, I don't know.
I like GFriend a lot
like
better.
Dog catcher nets.
Yeah, GFriend is a lot better. But yeah, I did like this song, but that was my only thing. Like, I wish it went a little bit more into the like rock territory, brought that guitar forward.
On any other album, this would probably be the GFriend, like the single. Like, this sounds like the very prototypical GFriend single, which normally should mean I hate it, but I actually like it because it's very well, despite being a very prototypical GFriend type song. It's done very well, mostly because, again, like the Yuju high notes that she hits in this are just perfect. Again, love the guitar solo part of it. I think it's fine that it's only sort of in like the solo aspect of it, because I love that they give focus to the as they do in most GFriend songs, they give focus to the string instrumental part, which I feel like definitely carried the song more than just the guitar solo or the guitar part would have. So yeah, that's why I'm fine with, for the most part, with the production of the song. So yeah, again, this whole album is like topsy-turvy, where the thing you don't expect to be the single is the single, and like the thing you would expect to be the single is the album track, and they're doing all this sort of crazy stuff. This is definitely a way more experimental GFriend album than we've gotten since, I don't know, maybe than Fingertips release. So that should be an indicator of how much I like it.
So this also is one of my favorite songs. Like like Andrew said, it's very like prototypical like GFriend song, but again, like it's a really, really good GFriend song, basically, is the way I would describe it. And one thing I really liked was in the chorus, they make like really good use of like pauses where it goes like
yeah, it's, again, we talk often about how it's not usually like how like loud your noise is or how loud the sound is that makes songs good. It's how you use the absence of noise, or like how you space it. And yeah, it's a perfect example of where, you're expecting it to follow normally, but you hear the pause and it sort of like makes you pay attention way more. So yeah, it's definitely it's a good tactic or a good musical element that helps you sort of like change up the sound or make it sound a lot more intriguing.
Like honestly, I feel like negative space is such a huge thing in like any form of art. Like I'll be doing like design work or something in the lab that I usually hang out in, and some people sometimes ask me like, how are you so good at like doing like designing and stuff like that? And I'm like, I know how to use negative space. Like a lot of people, they get hung up on filling up all the space inside of whatever it's like graphics or like music, or even in like cooking, for example. Like they're trying to like make his flavor stand out, so they just put more in and stuff like that. So like just like make good use of like negative space. Like not everything has to be all filled up. What you more want to do is just use that to bring focus to the thing you actually want to pay attention to.
It's the same thing across like shoes. Like that's how I design shoes or whatever. Just like it doesn't necessarily have to be crazy unless that's sort of the style, but that's why you see people use things like logos, like a swoosh or like 3 stripes, where against like a sort of like neutral background, because again it brings focus to that logo or to what you want want people to look at. And again, it works the same way in music with that pause.
Yeah.
So that's your deep musical theory sort of thing for the day.
Next we have Tick Tick. So this is like a super funky, upbeat pop song with a really awesome bass line.
Oh, that's the best part of the entire song.
I know, it's so good.
That's literally all I have to say about this. Like, if it has a good bass line, it's a good song. I don't need to listen to the rest of it.
That's all my notes is. Like, it's a super funky song with an awesome bass line. It's good. Those are my notes.
So for me, I really like the song. Like Andrew said, I also really like the bass line in this. But another thing I liked was like right off the bat, like in the beginning, it sort of feels like it's like swelling up until like pops, and that's when the like the first vocals like jump right in there. I thought that was really cool. And then also like really, really nice like powerful vocals leading up to the drop where the chorus happens. So yeah, I really like those parts.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I've already gone.
Yeah.
Next is Bye. It's a ballad. And it's an insanely awesome string-based ballad. The vocals are so good. It turns into a power ballad at the end, and there's a sick guitar solo. I like this song a lot. And actually, one thing that stood out to me is it's 5 minutes long, which we almost never get in K-pop music. Like, it's almost never, songs are almost never longer than 4 minutes or a little bit more than 4 minutes. And I noticed that when I was listening to it, like, it stood out to me. I was like, this song is going on a lot longer than I'm used to. But I liked it. I actually think this is probably my favorite song. I really, really liked this ballad.
I can do that GFriend ballads though. That's me.
For me, I really like this song actually. When I first listened to it again, like my first reaction was like, "Oh, it's a ballad." But as I was listening to it, it also sort of sounded like something you'd find on like an OST.
Yeah, it's
but
very
at the same
OST-esque.
time, but that's not necessarily a horrible thing. Like what it reminds me of is like something you find on like SM the Ballad, like one of those albums, which I listen to those a lot actually. Like what first came to my head was like Jonghyun and Taeyeon's Breathe. Like that's one of my favorite songs. So I thought it was a pretty decently made ballad. So definitely thumbs up for me.
As much as like it's a ballad as a joke for us, like I love listening to ballads.
Oh yeah, like one of my most listened songs is like You Are by Taeyeon, and also
exactly.
Hello Happiness or Goodbye Sadness, Hello Happiness or something like that. Ray, one of my favorite songs.
Exactly. And I thought this was a really good one. And finally we have You Are My Star. So this is a more pop ballad. I really like the like super twinkly synth sounds. That was definitely something that stood out to me in this song.
Another meh. Again, it ended so flat. I kind of wish they just did something to spice it up towards the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think the album was very top heavy. That was my first.
Very top heavy.
That was my first sort of impression. Yeah, exactly. I would have put this one before Tick Tick, and I think that would have fixed it a lot. Yeah. So, I don't know if I just jumped ahead of somebody, but whatever.
Andrew said meh, so.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah, no
gonna
other
say
notes.
basically like it's a good song, but I think it's definitely my least favorite on the album.
Yeah, I
so,
think it stood out the least to me
Yeah.
as well.
yeah.
Okay. Overall, for me, I did a 5 out of 6 for music. Like I said, You Are My Star probably stood out the least, but for the most part, everything else I loved. A 2 out of 3 for concept. Like we said, the music video was really basic, but their choreography makes up for it. Plus the new hairstyles and everything look great, and their performance outfits are really good too.
Yeah, great.
So 2 out of 3 there. Obviously, if the music video was better, it could have been a 3 out of 3. And then 1 out of 1 because obviously I am a fan of GFriend. So that is an 8 out of 10 for me.
You don't know how close I was to giving this a 9. Like
Yeah.
it was that close. Like literally, all if I just liked like one more song, or if they
Or the
literally
music
all
video was a
yeah,
little better.
pretty much if they had a good music video, like oh my, like this is probably this is probably my favorite GFriend album since God, what was the one with Fingertip on it? Like
Something night. I don't remember. Let me
oh
check.
God,
Awakening, was that what
yeah,
it was
The Awakening.
called?
Yeah, pretty much this is like maybe you know how like I have a thing with I like fall twice better than spring twice. Maybe I like spring GFriend better than like fall GFriend or not, or summer GFriend or whatever, because yeah, again like because The Awakening came out pretty early in the year too. So yeah, I love that it's a good on a scale of like I don't know, just maybe of like Fingertip to Love Whisper. I love it how it's sort of like in the middle, and I want them to iterate upon that. And again, I love the experimentation that they decided to do within the album tracks. Just again, like they weren't afraid to change genre, to maybe cut back on the vocals, or to maybe change like how they approached the song, so it didn't sound like like a prototypical GFriend song. So I have to give high marks for that. So it's a 5 out of 6 for music, but very close, very close to a 6 out of 6. 2 out of 3 for concept, again, very close to a 3 out of 3. Where like like the choreography like almost hard carried it to a 3. It's that good, and obviously I'm gonna give a bias point because I love GFriend now. So yeah, even though it's an 8 out of 8, it's definitely the most interesting and the most like it's definitely one of my favorite GFriend albums that have come out since The Awakening, definitely.
Yeah, so for me, I also gave it a 5 out of 6 for music, just because basically like out of the 6 like real songs, I really liked 5, and then the other one fell flat. So basically, logically, 5 out of 6. And then for concept, I gave him a 2 out of 3, just because the music video was good, but it wasn't wasn't anything spectacular. Album art is very generic. Although I really like the fashion and the hairstyles and stuff like this in this comeback, so I think that's good. I actually haven't checked out the choreography, so I still need to do that, but I don't think that
you assume.
Yeah, so basically I assume that's good. That's why I gave them 2 out of 3 instead of 1 or whatever. Anyways, actually I think either way I would have given them a 2. Anyways, obvious bias point. GFriend's one of my favorite girl groups, so yeah, I also gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yep. So all three of us gave it the exact same score.
Yep.
So
For
8
once.
out of 10. And yeah, I mean, I was also close to giving it a 9.
Yeah.
So close. Like
Yeah, I also thought it was pretty close. Like I think if they had a more like spectacular MV, I think
Yep.
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
would've-
But just in general, I feel like this is a return to form for them in my eyes.
Yeah, I think because I gave both G Idol and this the same score. I think both of them are like 5.5 for music, and I was close to giving them both 6 out of 6 for music. And for me, it's a super generic song, way too much auto-tune, and a really tacky music video where it's just like, let's have random white and black girls in the music video, and
As female
just
decoration,
for
basically.
yeah, basically like it was like straight up, let's do what every American rapper does, and